Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Clean Reads podcast. I'm your host, Izzy, and today I'm going to be doing a detailed book review on The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. And before I continue, please like and subscribe, and that means so much for my channel. I mainly do book reviews on this channel. Sometimes I'll do other special like interviews and book hauls and things like that are just fun and bookish, but also pleasing to the Lord. Anyway, let's get started. So, my mom originally wanted me to read The Hobbit, and who doesn't want to read The Hobbit? It is a classic. Well, I didn't want to read The Hobbit when I first learned of it. My mom said that if I read the book The Hobbit back in January, I would get extra credit for my school. And so I decided, okay, I'll do it, and I've been wanting to read it at that point in January. Oh my goodness, if you have not read fantasy before, or if you have not read any works by J.R.R. Tolkien, this is a wonderful book to start with. The Hobbit is so awesome, and you don't have to read it. It's kind of like a novella or just a plain novel. You don't have to read it with the Lord of the Rings series, but you don't always have to. It just tells what happens before that, and oh my goodness, it is so good. Let me read you the description on the back of the book. Bilbo Baggins was a hobbit who wanted to be left alone in quiet comfort, but the wizard Gandalf came along with a band of homeless dwarves. Soon Bilbo was drawn into their quest, facing evil orcs, savage wolves, giant spiders, and worse, unknown dangers. Finally, it was Bilbo alone and unaided who had to confront the great dragon Smaug, the terror of an entire countryside. Now, you follow Bilbo, and obviously he's the main hobbit that you get, like this point of view from, although I don't think it's not from Bilbo's point of view. It is from the author's point of view. Let me describe the movie better. That way that we don't lose all of our brain cells when you're talking to me or listening to me. So in the movie, Bilbo is living a normal life. He's not married, nothing like that. He is by himself in his parents' hobbit hole. His parents have passed away, and they've been known for having their whole family, except for on his mom's side, have been known for taking it easy. Like the phrase, work smarter, not harder. That's basically what their family, his dad's side of the family, usually does and is known for. But on his mother's side, they were more known for being adventurous and outgoing. Obviously, at the start, Bilbo doesn't really inherited really that much of his mother's side of adventure. But when he gets visited one day by the magical wizard, and I'm sure you probably already know the name Gandalf. So Gandalf comes in and he says, hey, I want you to come with me and these dwarves to go seek out this treasure. And Bilbo's at first like, no, I'm good. I'm fine where I'm at right here. But no, Gandalf comes back a day later, and he brings I think there's 12 dwarves, which is hilarious. And in the way J.R.R. Tolkien wrote this book is so great. Like, you want to keep reading. But anyway, the way J.R.R. Tolkien weaved the story in his own made-up fantasy world and realm is just incredible, the way he crafted everything. I really wish I could write that well. He does such a good job at writing scenes and action and things like that. And I'll read you a little bit of one of my favorite quotes, and it's actually towards the beginning of the book. If you hear pages turning, that's me trying to get to there. But it's at the beginning of the book, and the dwarves are singing. And they have this a little bit in the movie too. I wish they had the full song, because I would just listen to it over and over again if they had the full song out there. But this was a dwarven song, and oh my goodness, how did J.R.R. Tolkien come up with this. It's so genius of a song. Listen. Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day to see the pale enchanted gold. The dwarves of yore made mighty spells, while hammers fell like ringing bells. In places deep where dark things sleep, in hollow halls beneath the fells. For ancient king and elfish lord, there many a gleaming golden hoard. They shaped and wrought, in light they caught, to hide in gems on hilt of sword. On silver necklaces they strung the flowering stars, on crowns they hung. The dragon fire and twisted wire, they meshed the light of moon and sun. Far over the misty mountains cold, to dungeons deep and caverns old, we must away ere break of day to claim our long forgotten gold. And I won't say it all out loud just because there's another verse in there, and this would be a lot longer of a book review if I were to continue that. So as far as the content within this book, and let me start with the violence. Obviously, we are going into a fantasy book, and this is, keep in mind, I think this is an adult fantasy. There's gonna be obviously death, and there's going to be like fighting and everything. So there's like battles and sword fights and going against one enemy and trying to attack the other and killing off people and things like that. You're gonna expect that, but and you can skip this, but this is a spoiler if you don't want to hear it. It is a violence thing, but anyway, there is a burning city, and a dragon attacks the city, burning it, and the dragon is shot with an arrow and killed. And there's things like that you should expect to find, especially in an adult fantasy. You should expect to find that kind of violence, just overall battle, war, no kidnapping. There is a scene to where Bilbo meets this little shriveled creature. I forget what its name is. And he wants to kill Bo Baggins. But he, like, anyway, I'm not going to tell you what happens next. But there's things like that you should just expect when going into this book. As far as the language, I don't even remember a single cuss word. And obviously it's in a fantasy realm, and if you are a good writer and you want to make your reader encapsulated in this world, you don't want to have modern day cuss words in the book, and that's exactly what J.R.R. Tolkien did in this book. And he did a great job of just, like, I don't even think there were like any elven cuss words. There may have been, but I don't remember. Anyway, for the romance, there none. I know in the movie, there is a romance between one of the dwarves and an elfish lady, but as far as the book, I don't remember any of that. And it's more of like, it's not prevalent at all, except for like, obviously Bilbo's parents were married. That was probably the only romance that was played within the book. For my rating of this book, I give it a 5-star rating. It is such a great book. You should really go and read it. Even if you are not a gigantic fantasy person, or you're just getting into fantasy, this is a great book to start with. And yes, the reading sometimes is a little bit hard because it was written in 1937, but also it was written by someone who wanted to encapsulate their reader by making it so that it was as if you were living in this world that he created. And he does a great job of that, but just keep that in mind also when reading it, is that it's not going to be, at least with me, I'm not a fast reader anyway. This book took me, I want to say a week, I'm guessing, to read this book, but it was so worth it. And I do want to continue the Lord of the Rings series. If you have read this series, please comment down below. And once I finish that series, I will be doing a full Lord of the Rings book review on all those books. but since The Hobbit was a novella and not technically part of the whole Lord of the Rings series, I decided to review this book first before I start reviewing and reading the other books. It's a great book for age range. I would say 13 plus, 14 plus, just because of the violence that does take place. And if you are not a fan of magic elements that are within fantasy books, obviously those two kind of go together, but let's just say that you don't like that. There is a lot of magic in here, but really it's more kind of normal than anything. They do run into this one guy, and I won't say what happens, but he has a magic element too. And honestly, this is a great book. If you are hesitant to read this book just because you're not ready for maybe the storyline or the writing that's within the book, at least read one chapter. Check if you are like, do I want to read this? And if not, I recommend watching the movie representation. It is flawless to the book, and I know it's a 2 DVD kind of movie. It still is worth it, and I do really recommend this book. Thank you so much for listening. If you are interested in more book reviews, please comment down below. Please also check out my channel because I do clean book reviews and I review popular, not popular books, just like a whole range of books. And I know I mostly have fantasy and dystopian books on my channel. It's just because I haven't been getting to the thriller and the historical fiction side of things, just because I don't read those that often as I do fantasy. But please check it out. Please like and subscribe. That would mean so much for my channel. If you are interested in book reviews but wanting to more gear toward middle grade and younger teen, which something I also touch up on but not as frequently, please check out my friend Samantha. She has a Spotify podcast too, called the Cozy Kitty Book Chat, and honestly she does a great job in reviewing her books. And I have a Spotify too, and I have a YouTube. I hope you have a God bless day, and I hope you have a wonderful summer. Bye!